In a dimly lit hotel room, a woman lay helplessly on the bed, her consciousness fading. What she didn't know was that all of this had been a meticulously planned trap by her adopted daughter. Acting on the adopted daughter's instructions, a photographer adjusted his lens, preparing to capture indecent photos of the woman to ruin her reputation, force a divorce from her scumbag husband, and leave her penniless and broken. As the effects of the drug wore off, the woman slowly regained consciousness. She was shocked to recognize the face of her adopted daughter. She couldn't understand what grudge did this girl hold against her to treat her so cruelly. The adopted daughter, however, wore a smug expression, confident that her plan was reaching its perfect conclusion. Summoning every ounce of strength, the woman managed to crawl out of bed and stagger out of the room, fleeing the den of conspiracy. Meanwhile, across the city, a wealthy man was wrapping up a party with friends. Though a friend offered to take him home, he insisted on staying at the hotel alone. Just as he descended the elevator, the escaping woman stumbled into him, disheveled and desperate. She clutched his arm and pleaded for his help. If he didn't help her now, she would be doomed. The wealthy man looked at her, visibly moved by her desperation. The photographer, close behind, searched the hallway in vain and left in frustration. Gazing into her terrified eyes, the man gently asked what she truly wanted. Their eyes locked. The atmosphere turned intimate. He leaned in, slowly moving to kiss her. Later, the man carried her into a room and laid her gently on the bed. After a night of passion, morning sunlight streamed through the curtains. The woman awoke alone. He was already gone. On the bedside table was a bank card with a balance in the millions, seemingly intended as hush money. Staring at the card, the woman explained to the absent man that she wasn't after his money. She too had been drugged that night, and he was also a victim. She hoped he would treat the incident as a secret, as she already had a family. The man's eyes darkened with intrigue. He told her he had extended her hotel stay by another night she should rest. Unbeknownst to her, the adopted daughter had already sent the so-called evidence of infidelity to the scumbag husband. The two had long been in cahoots, waiting for this exact moment to confront the woman. Still overwhelmed by the chaos of the night, the woman tried to figure out how to explain everything. But when she looked out the hotel window, she was stunned to see her husband and the adopted daughter laughing together. Her husband claimed he didn't care about money, was already rich. The adopted daughter sneered that the woman would leave the marriage with nothing. The woman covered her mouth in disbelief. The heartbreak only deepened when she returned home and found her mother emotionally shattered from the cruelty of the adopted daughter and the husband. The adopted daughter insulted the elderly woman, calling her a filthy old hag. The husband did nothing to stop her. Instead, the two attacked the mother with pillows in a chaotic scene. Trying to protect her mother, the woman was shoved aside. Her mother eventually collapsed from exhaustion. The husband seized her phone to stop her from calling an ambulance, mocking her as immoral. The adopted daughter smugly declared herself the daughter of a tycoon and claimed she could do anything she wanted. The woman tearfully asked her husband why he would treat her like this. He coldly replied that if he had met the adopted daughter earlier, he would never have married her. The man left with the adopted daughter, leaving the woman alone to deal with her injured mother. She quickly called for an ambulance and rushed her mother to the hospital. Watching her frail mother lying in bed, the woman was consumed with guilt and sorrow. While she cared for her mother-in-law arrived with divorce papers in hand. With no regard for the setting, she threw a bag at the woman, calling it her trash, and declared the marriage over. She publicly humiliated the woman, accusing her of sleeping around, pointing to the red marks on her neck as evidence. She called the woman a disgrace and accused her of seducing the adopted daughter for her inheritance. After all, the girl was the only heir of the childless tycoon. The mother-in-law warned her not to get in the way of her son's future. The husband revealed his true intentions, stating that since the tycoon couldn't have children, the adopted daughter would inherit everything. He threatened the woman, saying if she didn't sign the divorce papers immediately, her mother would suffer the consequences. Faced with the hospital bed and her mother's condition, the woman was forced to sign the divorce papers through tears. The husband and mother-in-law left satisfied. 2 months later, while caring for her mother in the hospital, the woman began to feel nauseous and ill. A nurse asked if she might be pregnant. Only then did the woman realize she had missed her period for 2 months. A horrifying thought struck her: could she really be pregnant? But the husband had always claimed he was infertile. At a party not long after, the woman, wearing a pink dress, sat alone. Her supervisor, Ryan, approached, encouraging her to drink. She declined, citing health reasons. Ryan, insistent, made crude remarks about her past, and even tried to touch her stomach, claiming he could tell how far along she was. She angrily pushed him away. Their confrontation drew the attention of the tycoon, who had just entered. Ryan, emboldened by alcohol, mocked the tycoon, unaware of his identity. A friend of the tycoon stepped in, and revealed Ryan's mistake. The man he just insulted was none other than the CEO of Chester Group. The tycoon dismissed Ryan, then turned his gaze to the woman. He asked bluntly if she was pregnant. She confessed the child was as they had been intimate that night, and she hadn't been with anyone else. The tycoon's friend expressed disbelief. After all, the tycoon had claimed he couldn't father children. Suspicion flashed in the tycoon's eyes. He warned the woman not to play games. The woman firmly declared she didn't want his money. If he didn't want to claim the child, she would raise it alone. Just please, don't take the child away in the future. Moved by her resolve, the tycoon decided to go to the hospital with her for a paternity test. At the hospital, the doctor confirmed that based on the tycoon's medical history, the chance of him fathering a child was nearly zero. This only deepened his mistrust. But then, the final test result came in. The doctor handed over the report. The tycoon opened it and froze. The report confirmed he was the child's father. Staring at the woman, his emotions swirled shock, confusion, and something deeper. He told her that since the child was his, he would take responsibility. But he also warned her sternly, if she ever lied to him, there would be consequences. The woman looked at him, eyes filled with mixed emotions. Two lives, tied together by fate, now faced an uncertain future. What would the arrival of this child bring for them?